Hello, and welcome to the Movie Universe. I'm your host, Movie Fan. Well, it's that time again. Time to go back to school. So, of course, I'll be talking about Back to School, starring Rodney Dangerfield. I don't think this is the first movie that he starred in, but this is certainly one of his best. Because all the jokes that he has lined up are really hilarious. I never stop laughing. And what's not to like? You get the story of a prominent businessman with a great sense of humor, by the way. His son is in college, and he missed him, and he wanted to spend some time with him. Plus, at the same time, his son wanted to drop out, and so he goes to college, visits him, finds out he wants to drop out. His son said, "Dad, that's easy for you to say, because you don't have to do it." So, he was going to do it with him. Obviously, he did that really just so he could stay in college, but at the same time, I think we can all agree that he mostly did that because he wanted to spend more time with his son. And throughout the movie, Rodney, he's doing all kinds of hilarious things. He's talking about business ethics, and I'm really using air quotes on that one, to this one snooty professor. He's throwing huge parties in the dorm, and he's technically cheating on his exams. Of course, in the end, he does study and actually passes, believe it or not. But I think the one thing that most of us remember the most is when he does the Triple Lindy, a high dive that he created, and only he could do. The story's very simple, so there's really not too much to say. But Rodney, he was hilarious through this whole picture with all his jokes. Talking about, like, "Oh, this is my kind of place. When I used to dream about college, this is what I always pictured. When did you used to dream about college? When I used to fall asleep in high school." And it's not just Rodney that actually brings something to the story. All the characters there, they're really good too. His son Jason, I like him. I mean, there's not too much to say. He's a pretty average kid by comparison, but I liked his character, you know? I mean, he was just a kid trying to find himself. Meanwhile, he's trying to impress a girl. Haven't we all been there? You got the snooty professor who wants Rodney out because he bought his way in. That's no secret there. And then you got the dean who just became best friends with Rodney, Dean Martin. And you got the professor who was in Vietnam and clearly was so mentally scarred by Vietnam, it's still bugging him. And you got this kid, Derek Lutz. If nobody recognizes this guy, you would know him better right now as Iron Man. That's right. This is Robert Downey Jr. in one of his earliest roles. He's changed quite a bit, hasn't he? One of my favorite side characters was Lou. You would know him from the Rocky movies. He was the trainer that worked with Burgess Meredith. I always liked Lou because, he was Rodney Dangerfield's chauffeur, but he was more than that. He was his best friend, his confidant, his bodyguard. Because anytime he ever wanted an opinion, he always asked Lou. And Lou was always straight. He would always give him that straight opinion. Just like a real friend would. It's a movie that I think everybody loves in one form or another because it's got some great jokes. It's got the typical story where it's really funny in the beginning and in the middle. Then close to the end it gets more serious. But you still get some real good jokes in the meantime. Mostly told by Rodney, but they're still funny, even after all this time. If anyone hasn't seen this movie yet, you should. I think you'll love it. This is Movie Fan, signing off.